I think this dish from my hometown rivals any French classic. So this is a traditional northern dish. The way that I'm going to show you how to do it, I think, is a really elegant and almost a bit of a showstopper way of doing a Lancashire hot pot. Hot pot traditionally is basically, I mean, the word hodgepodge, which is an English sort of colloquial term for, which means like lots of stuff mixed together. Hot pot can sort of be anything. Mainly lamb, sometimes lamb kidneys and offal in there as well. But the way that I like to make it is always with lamb shanks. And that's from a presentation point of view, but also because I feel like the shank is one of the best bits of lamb when it's braised. So I've just floured these all over. A hot pot needs to be quite thick. If it's got too much loose liquid, what will happen is as it cooks, the loose liquid goes all over the top of your potatoes and you get left with something that looks, you know, not as elegant as it possibly can. So just searing those all off, and then I'm just going to whack in my vegetables as well. Okay, so I'm just going to quarter some onions, leaving the stem on because I'll want to take these out later as well. And then I'm just going to mix in some carrots as well. So this, I'm going to basically create the foundation of a beautiful sauce which is going to cook the rest of the hot pot. So just use those vegetables to really get the fond off the bottom of the pan. This is going to braise for a long time, and this is what you're looking for, just that beautiful sort of golden colour all over the meat. You can season it up at this stage as well. Quarter of a bottle of red wine. I always think Sunday afternoon you get quarter of it goes to the recipe and the rest goes to you. So I'm actually going to use beef stock to braise it, and then a lighter chicken stock later on if it needs it, because it doesn't really need to be really intense. What you want to taste is the sweetness of the lamb, the sweetness of the vegetables, and that's kind of characteristic for me of what a really good hot pot is. Ultimately, like most dishes in the UK, this is hearty, sort of cheap, and it was designed to basically fuel people who are working in mills, and specifically Lancashire was known for cotton mills. Obviously cotton was important for that, but also sheep were also important for the textile industry as well. Lots of mutton kicking around on the hills. Braise this down for around about 3.5 hours at 160 degrees. Oh, there we go. That looks awesome. So sweet as well, the aroma that comes out of there. So what we're going to do is pull out the bones. They should just glide out. To be honest, if there is a tiny bit of resistance, that is not a bad thing, because it doesn't need to be completely fully melt in the mouth. But these bones are going to be a really cool presentation piece, so we want to try and keep those. Always with things that you braise, it's best if the meat has a little bit of time to chill out in the sauce. So I'm not, you notice, I pretty much leave it fully submerged when I'm taking these bones off, but leave the chunks of meat whole. Now, the inspiration for this recipe, actually, I was reflecting on the fact that we always do French food. It got me thinking about when I first saw a chef actually nail this recipe, and there's a guy called Nigel Hayworth who did this on Great British Menu when I was like probably 14 years old or something like that. Whereas most 14-year-old boys are out doing more exciting stuff. I was learning how to make a Lancashire hot pot, but he really elevated it and did it in a really cool way. What I like in mine is I like carrots, celery and onions, but if you've got turnips, if you've got some mushrooms, it's all going to be good in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dice up all the veg, not too fine, like you don't want it to be like completely ultra fine. It's still a classic sort of hearty dish. So my dad always used to do this with swede, but not a massive swede guy, to be quite honest. So I think celery is a bit more delicate. Now we're just looking to sweat this veg down. We actually don't really want it to get much of a colour. We've done the sort of, the stock has got a lot of the flavour in it. So this is more just to add sweetness. And you don't want it to be completely like mush. You want it to have a bit of texture to it as well. The sauce that I've got, that I cooked the shanks in, got a really beautiful intensity, but it is quite thin. Add the butter. I'm just adding now a little bit of salt. Good bit of pepper. Just going to pick a little bit of extra thyme into there. Thyme specifically works very well with lamb. 1 tablespoon of flour. So it is really important, like I said before, you don't want the sauce to be in any way loose, because it'll just sort of submerge all over the potatoes and bubble over them. So you want it to be actually quite thick. 1 small clove of crushed garlic. Okay, and then that's the basis to our sauce. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the meat out, fat and connective tissue on there. It's all good stuff. That for me is the pleasure of a lamb shank. It's the best part about it. See, they're coated like nicely with that flour, and I'm going to add in some of that stock. So just use a sieve and directly into the pot, but not all of it. Really important you reserve some of that stock. And what you want to see is a nice homogeneous sauce. I think it just needs a little bit more body. So what I've got here is equal quantities of butter and flour. So it's just what they call a beurre manier. Adding that in there bit by bit until I've got the perfect consistency. So it's really important that it's thick enough to suspend all of the meat and doesn't come out over the potatoes. I'm going to turn the heat off, but you'll see I literally fold over this meat 3 or 4 times. You really don't want to break up this. You want these beautiful little chunks of meat. And this is just to coat it in sauce, not in any way to break it down anymore. Just going to go back in the oven, remember? Gently folding it over. And now it's ready for the next stage. So I've got a presentation pot. This is just a copper pan that I've got a couple of these at home, but either way you can work into another pan. Layer in your mix. You could just finish the whole thing in that pan if you want to. I think it got a real nice spectacle if you sort of build it around this. The bones that we've taken from earlier, whack those in. And using a deep pan like this will really help to keep these bones in place. Yeah, this is purely decorative, but this is Nigel Hayworth's, I think he used best end for mine, so mine's a cheap and cheerful thing. Nigel lost his way a little bit. I'm still down with it. I'm still a man of the people, you see. So, little hack for you. I've just got a potato, and I'm just gonna do a really nice thin slice. And then to keep this bone in place, I'm just going to lay it over the top. I'm just going to leave it like that over the top so it will secure it and won't move around during the cooking process. So what I've got is these awesome little potatoes called Charlotte potatoes. It's probably the waxiest potato you can get. If you can't find a Charlotte potato, any, to be honest, small boiling potato would do, or you could buy something really waxy like an Albert Rooster, and you actually don't need to go too thin. But ideally you can sort of see the shade of the knife through it. So I've got a real good tip for this next stage. So most people just layer up the potatoes on top, but put them into a bowl and then season them. This way you guarantee that you've really nicely seasoned every potato rather than just putting it between the layers. And then just add a touch of stock to this as well. The leftover stock, remember I didn't put all of it in there. And then as well some melted butter. So normally the way to do it is to put it all on top and then to add a bit of melted butter on top. This way you get this perfect coverage and you know that they're all sort of fully soaked before you even start layering. And the first layer doesn't really matter if you've got any ugly potatoes that you didn't cut nicely or marks or any of the end bits, they can go at this bottom layer because this isn't as important. The only thing is just try and make sure it's nice and even. Okay, and then I'm just going to do one more layer of potatoes all the way around. Again, not the neatest layer because it doesn't need to be. Okay, and then the last one is ultra neat and precise. So we want to be overlapping the potatoes pretty much covering 2/3 of the latter. So this shape, it's not just for aesthetics, it's also because the more the potato is exposed, the more it sort of curls up. Having this like super consistent layer of potato will limit the amount of sort of curl that you get. Obviously beautiful for presentation, but it will also set and make sure that the thing that's inside the lamb, which is obviously the most important part, doesn't sort of spill out everywhere and doesn't go on the side of the dishes. I mean, it looks ridiculously decadent, and all I'm going to do now is just a tiny bit of clarified butter on top, just to finish that off. Right, so this now goes in the oven, 160 degrees, for around about 35 minutes, but as we can see, those potatoes are really thin, so all we're actually trying to really do here is just cook the potatoes and get it really nice and golden. Oh, look at that bad boy. Thing of beauty. I'm just going to glaze it up one final time with a little bit of stock. To taste this and serve this up, we're going to invite Rachel, our home ec, our channel home ec, to come and taste it. She is American, don't hold that against her, and she's never even tried a Lancashire Hotpot. So, a channel first and a Rachel first. Come in here.
Hey chef, what is this?
Look at this.
It's looking beautiful.
It does look good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So my theory is this rivals any French classic potato dish.
That was a very bold statement.
I'm going to serve you up. So what you actually want is a good layer of these potatoes They should be nice and caramelized on top.
Oh, that looks delicious.
And then a good portion of this lamb meat as well. So dig in and let me know what you think.
That's so nice.
Good, eh?
Yeah, so nice. I think this is always what I think of when I think of British cuisine. It's very comforting. It's very warm. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Not all British food is bad.
Why? Who said that?
I don't know.
Is that something? Is that an Americanism? Is it?
Sometimes. Some Americans might think that.
This is food for the mills, food for the minds. This is northern hearty food. It's going to fuel an industrial revolution.
As it should.
What do you think? Do you think it's better than a classic French dish?
Honestly, I think so. And I think the flavors of it, they're so good, it's so decadent and rich, but I love it.
Is it banging?
It is absolutely banging, chef.
Push it. There we go.